agakagwawo President Donald Trump asindise amaje wamu ne jet fighters zi F-50 zonna azimbudde. Muyinza okumbuuza azisindise wali Somalia era bwetungira sawa zino jet fighters ziri ku mazzi era yakozeseza Navy Marine kubanga zadde ziva ku mazzi oba ku Indian Ocean nga wezirumba Somalia. Basinga badde balowooza nti no azireetedde DRC Congo wamu ne Museveni ne Kagame okubeera nga bebe basupportinga M23. Byonna mbikuleetera ngenda kubanga mbikutemera lwaki ezinyonyi zapaakinzaawo era nga zirwedde kubanga zikola emirimu gyayo. Atannabakumpira ka video ka like badde nkusaba okampira ka like nga sotambula ku speed ya waggulu nnyo tukira bonna banjagadde okumanya feno information. Olunaku olubadde wiiki ewedde omukulu amanyikiddwa nga Donald Trump yasobola okubanga afayalinga order n'agamba nti no mufayalinge Somalia wonna wali ISIS. Awo wennyini abasinga ne bamubuuza n'agamba nti no kati olutalo lwa Congo gw'olulaba otya? Yasobola okuvaayo n'agamba nti no wait nkimanyi gye luli naye ezo nsonga ntono nnyo sobola okukola kozi we bati nebikola ki nebibeera nga biggwa. Awo wennyini mwasobola okubanga mulaba aba M23 nga basizinga fire batya okubanga omusajja yagambye mbuno ye bw'aba azze ajja lumu. Awo nyingina bwankufunga eno video osooka ogirabe obeera ng'ombulira endowooza mu comment section. Oli ttiimu ki? Oli ttiimu M23 oba oli ttiimu Congo? Ojja kuba ombulira mu comment section kubanga ttiimu M23 mugimanyi bulungi eri ku side ya Kagame mbu kubanga UN weesobola okuvaayo negamba nti no M23 yali backed up by President Paul Kagame. Kale Kagame agamba nti no M23 yava mu Uganda. Kati biri awo oyinza okwebuuza mbuno ife Bannayuganda bitukwatira wa muganda wange bajja bakuba bomu. Soka olabe video
and SADC member states, ministers responsible for foreign affairs and external relations of EAC and SADC, secretary generals of SADC and EAC, distinguished delegates, esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen. I will take this very early opportunity to sincerely thank my dear sister, Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, President of the United Republic of Tanzania, for hosting this joint summit. After extensive consultations, when I requested her to host this summit, without hesitation, she offered these excellent facilities for us to engage in this exercise. My dear sister, thank you very much. We're truly grateful. Equally important, I appreciate the efforts made by the two regions through their respective communities to mobilize with urgency and convene separate extraordinary summits in order to deliberate on the concerning security situation in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Excellencies, together, we find ourselves standing face to face with a grave and protracted security, diplomatic, and humanitarian crisis in DRC, a situation that demands our immediate, collective, and sustained attention. The East region of DRC has been engulfed in a devastating conflict for over 2 decades now, and this tragedy has claimed thousands of lives, displaced countless civilians, inflicted unbearable suffering and loss, and set back the development momentum of one of the most promising countries in the world. The recent escalation of hostilities in Goma and the surrounding areas is a stark reminder of the increasing fragility the situation presents, and that only collective action to facilitate a negotiated solution will offer relief. Today, we join together in order to reiterate our calls to the parties to this tragic conflict to immediately cease hostilities and take positive action to allow meaningful dialogue aimed at restoration of stability. Specifically, we stand together to call on all parties to actualize the ceasefire, and specifically on the M23 to halt further advancement and the armed forces of DRC to cease all retaliatory measures. An immediate ceasefire is the only way by which we can create necessary conditions for constructive dialogue and implementation of a comprehensive peace agreement. As members of the African Union and United Nations, we stand bound by fundamental principles of respect for the territorial integrity and sovereignty of nations and the principle of good neighborliness. These twin principles are the surest safeguards for the realization of peaceful coexistence. Equally, as responsible members of the international community are bound by the obligation to ensure the safety of diplomatic assets, civilians, and personnel, as well as peacekeepers within our countries. The wanton disregard for the sanctity of life, diplomatic missions, and peacekeeping, and peacekeepers as well, is not only a brazen demonstration of lawless and unprincipled pursuit of violent harm and destruction, it is a grave affront to the rules-based international order. Excellencies, our presence here underscores our consensus that the time for action is now. The lives of millions depends on our ability to navigate this complex and challenging situation with wisdom, clarity of mind, empathy for the millions whose lives and livelihoods have been plunged into uncertainty, concerns for DRC's lost opportunity to accelerate its growth and development, and a steadfast commitment to peace and justice. A terrible yet indisputable act is that the humanitarian cost of the conflict in the DRC has been staggering. Millions of civilians have been displaced and many lives under the persistent threat of violence, including sexual and gender-based violence against women and children, and the recruitment of children to take part in combat. We have a historic opportunity to rise to our moral duty of making the protection of civilians our foremost priority, and of taking measures to ensure that the necessary resources and support are provided. For many well-known reasons, the situation in DRC implicates the broader global community. Therefore, we call upon the international community to step up and do its part in supporting regional efforts in delivering for the DRC, and critically collaborating with the government of the DRC to deliver support and security to those